Oh, come on, man. You can't snap it up. It's good. No. Yeah, it's still
There is a sign-in sheet. I don't know what sheet. Is it right here? Was it right here? There was a sign-in sheet. Was it right there? Okay. He would know. Hey, sir. Sign-in sheet.
like one of the blue. Wait for the start. Next.
gotta say something about that shirt.
Hey, sir. How you
you
doing?
doing?
Pretty good.
I
Yourself?
was seeking too.
All right. Wonderful.
Good to see
Wonderful.
you, brother.
Wonderful.
Good to see you,
Good to
brother.
meet you. Awesome. I'm Chauncey.
Randy Phillip, nice to
All
meet
right.
you.
Same here.
What's
Yeah.
your DG?
Oh, well, it's on live right now. Oh, I'm not a member yet. I'm not a member yet. Ebenezer, I'm military, retired military, so I had family in Ebenezer, but I've been venturing over here as well. So
How you doing today?
There's a lot of familiar faces. Thank you. Welcome again, and welcome to the Springs Civic Townhouse meetings. I see a lot of familiar faces here. I see representatives from House Assembly, representatives from I see Bethany. I see various community centers. And what we're going to do first is on being stalking before we begin. But let me go over some of the rules that we have. We're going to first ask you to ask your questions, make it short. And the one who is going to answer the question, the one that is going to answer short, no more because there are a lot of people here with a lot of questions. We're going to, 12, we're going to break for 15, 20 minutes, and then we're going to come back and wrap it up for 45 minutes, and then we'll shout out the names over here. We have Paul, is that the state, Virginia State Delegate. David Scott, we're waiting for him to come in. Fairfax County Community Development. We have a member from the Virginia Board of Legal Voters. We have Jessica over here from the Mount Vernon Democrat. We have Officer John Kavinsky. He can talk about fraud and everything. We have Nikki from the NAACP. Stepped out. So we're going to have two questions. I'm going to ask the questions. I'm going to answer the first question, and then the other question I will answer towards the end of the program. The first question is, with all the confusion going on, with all the cutting and slashing, talking about Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, SNAP, and all these other programs, people want to know, what are you doing to fight a good fight, like John Lewis would say? And what are you doing? Anyone want to go first?
I'll take that since that's the easiest question to begin. Hello, everybody. My name is Paul Kruzak. I'm your delegate. I'm an old Brooklyn High School grad, class of '79. I see a few of my classmates. It's great to be back. I want to thank you all for coming. You know, this staying engaged is part of what we're doing to fight back. We saw on Saturday there was tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people down in D.C. marching, not just in D.C., but in Boston, New York, Chicago, Richmond, everywhere. Manassas had 7,000 people. So folks are getting upset. The noise is coming out of Washington right now. Where billionaires like Elon Musk think they can rewrite the rules. We are going to fight back, and we are fighting back. At the state level, we're doing everything we can too. But this White House is more interested in pleasing the powerful to protect the people who built this country like you guys in this room here today. So at the local level, what we have in this country is we have a federal system. We have 50 states. Right now, there are 16 states that are run by Democrats. There's an election this November. And it's going to be, and if the Democrats win the governor's mansions, Abigail Spanberger is our nominee. If she wins, that'll be 17 states. Those 17 states can push back against the federal government and will and are doing so. There are 23 attorney generals that are Democrats, and they've also been litigating against the federal government and winning cases, and that's another way we can fight back. But in Virginia, we're not powerless. Yesterday, my colleagues and the Speaker of the House, and I don't know how many of you know the Speaker of the House of Virginia, Don Scott. Raise your hand if you've heard of Don Scott. Okay, we got a few people who know Don Scott. Let me tell you, he came up here last year and spoke at the Gum Springs Historical Society dinner over at Mount Vernon, and with Ron Chase's organization. And he is a dynamic leader. He's the first black Speaker of the House of Virginia. And we've had 300 years of speakers, and he's the first one. And he is changing the situation right now. Yesterday he had a committee that's been looking, that's going around the state, it was Northern Virginia, and they're talking about what to do and what we're going to have to do. We're probably going to go back into a special session. The Speaker can call a special session. And the leader of the Senate is our very own Scott Servell. So he is also working with John Scott as the Speaker. So the House and the Senate are run by the Democrats by one vote each. And the House is having an election this November too. So we need to win this election in November, and then we can keep pushing back. But let me just tell you some of the concrete progress we've made proceedings. Okay. I want to just let you all know we're going to keep fighting for this. We expanded Medicaid. We have now over 700,000 Virginians, including many older adults, have better access to health care. We only have 6% of Virginians that don't have insurance now, that don't have health care. And that's still too high. That's better than most states. We've created the Prescription Drug Affordability Board so we can rein in costs. We've passed laws to protect seniors from financial scams. You're going to hear about that today with Officer here, and elder abuse.
We've expanded programs like Virginia Fresh Snacks, Meals on Wheels. And at the federal level, we have to push back because they're trying to get rid of Meals on Wheels. We can't let that happen. No senior in the Commonwealth should ever go hungry, and they won't under our watch in the General Assembly. Thank you. Anyway, I got lots to tell you, and I just thought things that can be easily answered in one. There's so many ways to push back, but you got to do it too. You got to write letters to the editor. You got to contact us. You got to register to vote over here at the League of Women Voters. If you haven't registered, or if you know people haven't registered, do that. They're nonpartisan and nonprofit. You can reach me. I've got my literature over here, how to reach me. You can write to me. I'm going to be taking notes today. So I will write down what you have to say and what your concerns are, and I will answer each and every one of you in the mail, email, or verbally here today. Thank you very much.
So first of all, thank you everyone. It's an honor to be here in Gum Springs, truly one of our most precious and important communities in Fairfax County. So glad to be here. My role as the Director of Housing is somewhat different. Yes, ma'am. Okay, is this better? Yeah. All right. Okay, thank you. So my role is a little bit different than the role of your elected officials. And my role is to administer the county's housing programs. And I want to speak just very briefly to where things stand from a federal perspective with our housing programs. As of right now, with the continuing resolution that was signed into law and takes us through September, the funding for our federal housing programs has effectively been held level. What happens going forward remains to be seen. I will say that from what we're seeing from our housing colleagues at the federal level at HUD, the staffing at HUD has been and continues to be very dramatically impacted. So our ability to work with our federal partners is significantly impeded in that respect. But what we're doing to fight the good fight is every day we are bringing those resources to the community. We are continuing to work to deliver new housing opportunities in our community using federal, state, and of course local resources, and to continue to provide new opportunities for people that have a place to call home in our community. And that's thanks to the leadership of our local officials, our state officials, and still the partnership that we have with the federal government. So thank you very much.
Okay, next is Dan Scott. And let's go to the fight. What are you doing?
Thank you. Like all of you, I'm fighting a good fight every day because this is a catastrophe what's happening across the river. We know it is. We've seen it already. We've seen it with lots of different things that are happening. The problem is, we all know that we're still trying to figure out what the next catastrophe is going to be, right? We talk about housing and we know it's coming our way and it's bad. It's really bad. We know it's also going to be true of just about every other thing that our community has committed to for decades. So the Board of Supervisors we had a meeting yesterday. I chair the Economic Initiatives Committee. I chair the Economic Development Committee of the Board of Supervisors. We are deeply concerned about its impact on you at lots of different levels. Not only in terms of the loss of jobs to people who are federal employees, or maybe just the unknown whether or not they're going to lose their job. The child care issues that if you lose your job, what about my house? What about my family? What about the other people? We heard stories yesterday about folks who lost their job, and then because they lost their job, they decided to move out of the area. And that means that the family is going to move with them. So this impact is not just one individual, it's multiple individuals. The Board of Supervisors, our first step is to make sure we know what the facts are. The facts are that we are going to lose at least 50,000 jobs in Fairfax County. At least 50,000 jobs in Fairfax County whether it's federal employees, whether it's contractor employees, and that's a ripple. There'll be things on top of that. It could be more, it's unlikely to be less. If it's more, the impact will be even greater. What that means for our budget and for financing the kind of work that we do, whether it's housing or our police or other public safety, any other things that we do, it's going to be putting a big hole on our budget, anywhere from $100 to $200 million of revenue that we will not get, which means we've got to either make those cuts or find that money somewhere else. So we are on point with this. Congressman Byer has been speaking about this. We have been on his Monday. I think it's once a month, but I've been on now 3 times. He has a phone town meeting that's excellent to listen to. And if you just go on his website, you can click in and find out how to get on it. It's a great way to find out what our federal officials are doing, because this, first and foremost, is a federal fight. But we are here trying to do our part to protect and make sure that we are moving forward, regardless of what happens across the river. So thank you.
Next, we have Officer John Kaminsky. John, what are you doing to fight the good fight? What you doing?
First off, thanks for having us, folks. We appreciate seeing you guys. John, first off, so it's just John. I think I'm incredibly fortunate to get to answer this question because our job doesn't change. Whether who's in the Senate, it doesn't matter to us whatsoever. What matters is that our communities are taken care of. So we're here to take care of that. We have nothing to do with the political. We're continuing to address some of these things. I know they'll come up later on today, but I find myself fortunate that we don't have to get in the middle of this stuff. Just know that if you call, we come. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, where you're from.
Last of all, we have Marina from the League of Women Voters. What are you doing? Good fight.
Okay, great. Good question. My name is Marina Greta. I am with the League of Women Voters in the Fairfax area with a couple of my, Arena Greta, League of Women Voters, with a couple of my colleagues here who are wearing purple shirts that say LWV. What do we do in Fight the Good Fight? The League of Women Voters was established in 1920. With the passage of the 19th Amendment, suddenly women were able to vote. Half the country, half the population was finally given the right to vote. Now, mind you, remember this country was founded on the idea of no taxation without representation. Well, guess what? Women had been paying taxes all of that time and never had to vote. But, like anything else, you got a new tool, you got to know how to use it. And the League of Women Voters got started by making it our mission to make sure that women, and then eventually everyone, understood the power of the right to vote and were able to access it. That's been our mission since 1920, and we're still going strong. We are here to help with any questions that people have about how to register to vote, to check if you're sorry about that. We can check if you register, we can help you register, we have materials if you have kids or grandchildren who are not yet registered to vote, go home, yell at them, and make sure they are registered. You know, the vote is a powerful thing, and I don't have to tell this community about how important that right is. If it weren't important, if it weren't the foundation of absolutely every other right that we have as citizens, they wouldn't be working so hard to take it away from you. And I hate to say it, we're a nonpartisan organization, but the truth of it is that there are people who believe that the right to vote should not be readily available to everyone, and they are trying to curtail the right to vote. Okay. There is an act that is being proposed in Congress, is going to be voted on possibly in the next 2 days or next week, called the SAVE Act. It isn't saving anyone. It is going to remove the right to vote from thousands, millions of people, in particular women, in particular the minority community. So this is one of those things we want to make sure that people are aware of and access the rights. We have these flyers called Fairfax Facts. It's nonpartisan. It's got every elected official you will ever need to reach with, here's a little history, phone numbers. You don't have to go online and try to find a phone number or leave an email message. We give you everybody's phone number in their office. Delegate Creasack, Supervisor Stewart will tell you they're here to grab one of these. We have them available and use these in order to contact your legislators and let them know what you feel strongly about. Thanks for being here with us.
Okay, now we're going to open it up to the floor. Raise your hand if you have any questions. Someone, Clarice, will come to your table and you can ask anyone your question, or you can say who you want to answer the question. So, any questions?
Good morning. I'm going to put out about 3 questions, and anyone of you can answer information. Can you hear me? I'm Edna Hyman. I have about 3 questions, maybe 4. I'm going to say real quick and y'all answer if you can. I have a question about housing. I have a Section 8 voucher, a choice voucher. My thing is, what are you going to do for me when you say, we're not going to give you any more money? What are you going to do for me when I'm trying to get another apartment and can't move? Right now, I'm in a situation, I've been trying to move, but because you don't give me enough of my voucher to move to another place, the rent is unaffordable, it's depressing coming to this long. So I want to know when you up the voucher amount, and not tell me I have to move to another county or another zip code. I don't want to move. I want to stay right where I am, but give me some more money on my voucher, you know? That's it. Medicaid, I get that. Medicare, what are you going to do for me if they take that from me? I need, I got a lot of problems, so I want you to tell me what am I supposed to do? I was told that I'm supposed to save my money, Social Security, that's my money. You're going to take that from me and tell me to save my money for the next 4 months? How can I save it when you don't give it? I want to take, don't take my money, give me my money so I can live. Amen? Amen.
Can you all hear me? Good. Okay. So first of all, thank you for the question. Better? Okay. All right. Thank you. So first of all, thank you for the question. I'll come see you directly after this. But what I will say, just with respect to the federal housing choice voucher program, generally speaking, is here in Fairfax County alone, we serve about 5,000 families using the voucher program. Every month, we put out payments to landlords of about $6 million plus. This is a really, really important, fundamentally, really foundational program for the work that we do in our community. As of right now, what we're hearing from the federal government is that they are, first of all, through the end of this fiscal year, we're in good shape, theoretically. And then going forward, there may be some changes to the program, but the program, as we understand it, will continue. So I just kind of, I know there's a lot of uncertainty, but I want to make sure that that folks understand the level to which we are, of course, very carefully monitoring how important this program is in Fairfax County. But again, I'll come see you afterwards about your specific situation. Thank you.
Next question.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Really almost have to eat the microphone. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to turn it up, but anyway, there's a lot of what you're talking about. Medicare is totally a federal program, and the housing voucher again is a lot of that federal money, and you have you should be afraid. We all should be afraid because what we're hearing from the White House is, and you see these deep cuts. I mean, even if they don't cut the money, they're cutting the staff, they're cutting the federal workers, right? Who's going to
who's going to make sure your Social Security check. I think I heard somewhere, a lot of what we're finding out is just these Twitter, or X or whatever they call it, that's owned by Elon Musk, right? So we're getting these announcements from the White House, and I think that Social Security is they're not going to send checks out starting in September. You're going to only get them through the through banking. How many of you get Social Security now in the mail? There's just a few people that still get it in the mail, and that's not going to happen. So we need to be prepared for that. And there's, we have a group at the state level called the Virginia Insurance Counseling and Assistance Program, and it offers free counseling on Medicare and long-term care insurance through the Virginia Department of Aging. And if you call me, email me, write me, all my materials here are how to reach me. And I'll actually pass them around a little later. But you can come up to this table and grab it, and I will give you the phone number for that and reach out, help you out with any problems that you have with this. But these are all, we're living in very chaotic, scary times right now because we don't know what to expect, right? We do not know what to expect. And I think what you're going to see is us, the people rising up. We got to push back. This is a serious situation we have going on there in Washington, D.C. And that's why Virginia's election that's coming up is the first one in the whole country. I think New Jersey's the only other one happening. And we got to vote. We got to vote this. So we got to push back by voting and showing them that we're not afraid and that we're not going to let them change these programs and fire all these federal workers because it's going to have an impact. If only we'll go into a recession and if we lose 10% or 15% of the federal workforce because Virginia is affected more than almost every other state.
Good morning. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
My name is Paul Hartman. My question is this. I'm trying to
I'll try to repeat. Put it close, and then I'll repeat it too, so you get a double.
My goal is to downsize. I'm a senior. My son, who's handicapped, is a senior. So I went to one of the facilities here on Route 1. They have outside bags on raising and flying rooms to rent, places to rent. I went in. Before I could even sit down, the young lady said, "We don't have the places." How's that helping us?
It's a housing question.
No place available.
Right.
But the flag said, "Come on in, we got rooms."
So the question is, she's been going, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you have not been able to find any housing, correct? And whenever you go out to these, when you've gone to places that they've advertised they have it, they don't actually have it.
Also, I've gone to a couple of different communities, apartment communities. You have to be making anywhere from $67,000 to $87,000 in order to get into a two-bed. I'm retired.
All right, so she's got income eligibility question. Ms. Coolwood, do you want to answer that? We're very lucky to have Tom Coolwood here, by the way. He is the director of all of Fairfax County Housing, and nobody is better prepared and knowledgeable about housing than he is. He's been doing it for many years now. I don't know how many, but I hope he doesn't retire anytime soon because we need him, especially during these tough times coming up. And we're very lucky to have his expertise. So I just want to make you aware of that.
So before he comes, is there someone that I can talk to that can help me individually?
Thank you for those very kind remarks. Yes, ma'am. I'll come see you individually after when we have a break here. But what I will say, and what the question points out, is that there is a huge demand for housing that's affordable for people.
I can't hear you, sir.
There's a huge demand for affordable housing all over Fairfax County, and we don't have enough housing generally. We don't have enough affordable housing, and the demand on the affordable housing that we have right now is very, very high, which is why we're working so hard to deliver new housing options in the community. And our board of supervisors is supporting that work and set a very ambitious goal for us of delivering 10,000 new affordable units by 2034. We're making great progress, but we've got a long way to go.
Are any of the units handicap accessible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. In fact, quite a few of them are, and many of the developments that the housing authority is involved in delivering exceed, and in some cases significantly exceed, the baseline requirements for handicap accessibility.
My name is Shirley Smith, and I need Medicaid because my husband just died, and they took my Medicaid from me. I deal with 2 aneurysms of my brain. I'm dealing with colorectal cancer. I have a lot of problems, and I need help because I live by myself, and I need help in my home.
Her question was, or her statement was, that I had it right here. I said, sort of put it down my throat. I can't get it no closer. Her question is, she needs help with Medicaid. Medicaid? Is that what you said? She said they took her Medicaid from her. Her husband passed away. She has no Medicaid. Can someone help her?
I think the people that could best answer that are not here today. We do have Medicaid caseworkers, people at the Jerry Highland Government Center that could assist her. I don't know the details. I don't know that level of knowledge. Again, Dan Sorkin, not the district supervisor. So we were just kind of looking at Tom, who might also be familiar with this. But between the two of us, we don't think we can respond except that Medicaid is a federal and state program, and the county does provide ministers part of that. So we work, it's all 3 levels of government work together on that. The federal sets some broad standards, the state decides what it will fund and what it won't fund, and then the county is the administrative arm for implementing that. So all I can ask is that you contact my office or you give us your information. We can see that one of our Medicaid caseworkers can follow up with you and hopefully address some of your concerns. Peyton Smith works in my office, and he can talk with you and get your details. Thank you, Peyton.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Shirley Smith, and my concern is last year our annual dues went up for membership, and I see we're building another facility in Fairfax County. Are we going to be raising the membership fees to pay for these facilities, or, I mean, a lot of the seniors here will not be able to afford if we keep raising the membership fees? That's one question. For the senior program.
As you know, last year the board agreed to raise the membership fee. I don't remember if it's $20 or $25 a year. Part of that fee was we addressed it as we raised it this bit. So I think we have on the list for this year is to raise it a little bit more. I don't recall the details in that, but I'll be happy to take a look at it. We have not approved the budget for this year, so that's whatever we would do has not been decided upon yet. So that would be something that I can go back and talk to my staff as well as talk to the county executive and others to see what is on track for any fees, additional fees this year. But the fees had not been raised for almost 10 years before that, so that was the basis for raising it a little bit. The fees don't cover the full cost, as you well know, of the services that are provided. and it's a way for everybody to contribute a little bit to frankly what we all try to do, which is provide support and services to the community in lots of different ways. I know it's not a complete answer, but that's where things are. You said your community center, your senior citizen center is closed? I wasn't sure familiar with that.
Oh, no, it is not closed, no. No, I said you're building another facility in Fairfax County, and I was wondering if we will have to pay for that facility.
Oh, no, that's not the way it works. The facilities are built through capital budgets that we appropriate years in advance, and then as the facilities open up, they have the same fees and same programs, similar programs across all the senior centers, citizen centers. So that new building will not cause fees to go up or additional costs to your seniors. The cost for seniors mostly is about the staffing that goes in to providing the services that we offer. The different programs are sometimes part of that as well. But a new building, a new center will not cause your fees to go up.
And my other question is about the staff grants. Our experience is they're always late for events, and I heard that you all will not own them anymore or whatever. They're owned by VDOT. I think someone needs to talk to them and make sure that they are on time, and I don't know, find out about the maintenance on these buses. I mean, are they safe for the seniors? That's my other question.
Yeah, those vans are operated by the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority, WMATA, as we say short, the folks who run the metro system and this metro area bus system. They operate that. They are safe. They have a very careful process to do that, but they have consistently had challenges with getting to their rides on time, getting late. We are now looking at other ways to provide those services. That's a lot of the discussion that's happening right now, because there's some major questions about how we should fund, again, WMATA, the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority, how we should fund that in the future, because they don't have enough money to continue to meet the needs of the growing riders that they have, whether it's in metro or buses or the ride-on buses that you use. So that decision will be probably made sometime this year, and we will then look at how do that funding decision will then be determined, and that will then enable us to move forward with some of the other changes that we need to have, including how we do individual ride-on arrangements for seniors and others who are disabled and need that additional support.
Question came up about SNAP program. A lot of people here are on the SNAP program, and they want to know, the question, how will the SNAP program be affected this year?
I don't think anybody here really knows. I mean, I'm looking at but I mean, there's so much in doubt. You don't have any federal officials up here. The federal people are the ones who would have a better idea. Congressmen or some of their aides might know. I think in general, we all are very supportive of the SNAP program. We know there's already, the Republicans have already tried to move forward with changes and reductions in that. We know the impact. Anybody who talks to folks from the United Community, or folks who talk to the LCAC or others, know that there's already been an increase in demand for food and other assistance. And we know that that's a function of folks who are losing that benefit. And some of that benefit was lost just a few months ago, but at this point in time, I don't know what else is happening in Congress.
Yeah. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. We hear things through Twitter and wherever. But I just want you to know that you can get SNAP benefits now over at the farmers market. And that was the Democrats down in the General Assembly expanded Virginia's the Fresh Match program that doubles your SNAP dollars. So that at farmers market. So it's a good way to get really good fresh food and every Wednesday. I don't know how many of you have been to the farmers market over by the library? I'm sure all of you. You all know about it. It's great. It's going to open up I think next week, right? Next Wednesday is going to be the first week of the year. So that's a good opportunity.
affordable housing. Affordable housing is not affordable for the seniors, number one. And number two, they're like matchboxes. They're so small. Like I checked out the one at Oakland Meadows. I checked out the one at North Hill. Like I can fit my bed in a bedroom. I can fit my dresser and any other furniture. They're just very, very small. So when you're considering housing for seniors and forgetting that you need a caretaker to move in with you, okay, the spacing is not very large at all. That's the one point I want to make about the housing, okay? I want to know about Social Security. You know, we hear about all these cuts that could come, or, you know, so we wait processing payments and things like that. I want to know, does the county have a plan in place with the apartment complexes? Because if I'm more than 5 days late paying my rent, I'm going to be charged 10% of my rent for late fee, and I'm going to start an eviction process. So I want to know, is there a backup plan if my Social Security check is late and I'm only able to pay my rent on time? Okay? And the last thing I wanted to say was about the senior centers, the community centers, and the fees. I'm hoping that the Board of Supervisors takes into consideration that we still are not charging for general membership, and that is a resource to help pay some of the fees for the community centers, as opposed to raising the membership fee for the seniors, which is now $62, which will go to $75. That was the plan that was in place. So I'm hoping that we consider some other place to get the money from instead of charging the seniors.
Well, I think the housing question, I'm going to refer to Tom, but I'm proud of the fact that we've made a lot of progress in the last really 5 or 10 years on increasing the amount of affordable housing over what we had before. We still have a huge deficit, as you well know. We do not have enough to address that, and we recognize that. That's why the Board of Supervisors created a new goal to have 10,000 additional affordable housing units by 2034. So that's a fact. It's also a huge challenge because how do we fund that housing? The Board of Supervisors has committed a penny, and now we're getting ready to raise that to a penny and a half, a penny and a quarter, and we will keep raising that until we get to at least 2 cents on our real estate tax rate to support affordable housing. That's just one piece of it. The other piece of it is we need private sector builders to build more affordable housing. We gotta have it. The county can't do it on its own. Most of the housing in the country is built by the private sector. We've got to have incentives. We have to have ways of supporting private companies to build more affordable housing. And that's part of what we've been looking at in ways that we can try to do that. One of the ways that we do that is that we require any new builder who wants to build a complex in Fairfax County to set aside at least 10 to 14%, depending upon where you are in the county, 10 to 14% of that housing that you build to be affordable, which means it'll be income-based and it will be no more than 30% of your income. So those are things that we're doing, but they're not enough. We have more affordable housing in the Richmond Highway Corridor than anywhere else in the county. So we have done more here than anywhere else in the county, but we also recognize it's not enough, and that's why the board has put a new goal going forward to try to grow that more quickly. But again, we got to have the private sector working with us, not building McMansions, but building more housing, more units that people can afford to either rent or to own. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you for that feedback with respect to the design of the units. That is, that's actually something new for me, hearing from a consumer. So I really appreciate that feedback, and we'll think about how we might be able to address that as we go forward. Thank you for sharing. So with respect to the question about an interruption or delay in, can you hear me now? I see. Okay, is this better? Okay, with respect to an interruption or a delay in Social Security payments and it then having the impact of causing someone to be late for their rent. Our agency administers the housing programs, but what I can say is I think certainly our board of supervisors would be very open to trying to figure out opportunities for partnerships that might be able to help address this. Writ large for properties that are owned by the housing authority, I think in such situations the housing authority as well would certainly be able to be flexible to address those issues. So until we're presented with some specific situations, what I would say again is that we all of us, the housing authority, the board of supervisors, county staff, would be very open to developing partnerships to figure out a way to help mitigate the impacts of potential delays in Social Security.
Keep it short. All right. It's a good question, and it's something that these questions you guys are asking today are good. We're writing them down. They're giving us some good feedback. That's probably something people haven't thought about. What happens when your Social Security checks arrive late and you then create a cascading problem, right? And then you can't send in your rent. Because you didn't send in your rent, you get a late fee. Because you get a late fee, then you don't have enough money for the food, and then because you don't have enough money for the food, you're going hungry, or what, and it just gets worse, right? So we've got to do more to help you in that respect, and we will be. And there might be legislation that we bring to the General Assembly that says that you can't, that these kinds of late fees happen in those circumstances. So that's something we can work on. But I also want you to know that General Assembly, the Democrats have been down there with rent and utility assistance programs. And all of those have been cut by the governor who's been vetoing that stuff. So that's why this November election, we have a Democrat running, and we got to get her elected, Abigail Spanberger, so that we will not have any vetoes from the governor, and we'll be able to provide more rental assistance and more utility assistance to seniors and low-income people. That's how we're going to get the best bang for the buck, is by getting us in there with real power that we can push back and we can give you the resources. We can help the family who's doing a great job. Thank you.
We're going to take a 15-minute break. You can get up, stretch your legs.
Can she do one question? She's got to go.
One more question.
Hi, I'm Dora Jones. I'm president of the Saunders People Senior Citizens Club, and we're the oldest senior club in Fairfax County. My question is to Mr. Stewart. Recently, our housing assessments went up, which means our real estate taxes went up. And I saw something in the budget where you're considering raising the real estate tax. Is that going to happen?
The answer is, I don't know yet. We have a budget process that we're going through right now. This budget process started about mid-February. We've had, in the Mount Vernon District, we've already had 2 public budget meetings. They were about a month ago. The Board of Supervisors has 3 days of budget hearings on the 20th, 21st, 22nd, and those are, did I get it wrong? 23rd, 24th, 23rd, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, no? 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Thank you. I'm very sorry. We have 3 days of budget hearings, and anybody in the community, anybody anywhere can sign up for it. Typically, probably the 22nd and 23rd are already full, which means that now on the 24th, in terms of people sign up, but all you have to do is either go to the website and sign up, or you can call our office and we can help you figure that out. But the way to do it is you sign up, and you can then either come in person, you can do a video and send it to us, or you can call on the phone and share your views and concerns about that. The county executive put together a proposal that potentially would raise the real estate tax rate by $0.015, but the real estate taxes are already slated to go up just because, as you said, your appraisals have gone up. The other option that we have for us is we can put in place a meals tax. The board has set up a maximum rate of 4 cents. Every other jurisdiction around us here has a meals tax, which costs about, only it's about 10 cents on every meal. You go to Alexandria, you go to Prince William County, pretty much everywhere around here. We are considering that because if we do something like that, we could reduce your real estate taxes. So that's one of the reasons the board is thinking about that. It's also one of the reasons we urge people to let us know what they're thinking at our budget public hearings.
Let them know that we're against the real estate tax going up.
Yeah, we share that, and we know that real estate taxes also affect and cause housing prices to go up, and housing price increases are my number one concern. My focus is how do we keep housing prices either where they are or potentially get them lower, but in reality, because of all the Trump tax tariffs that he's doing, everything's going to go up. That's the reality of it. So, thank you.
Okay, well, this is the time where we can take a break, 15-minute break. Down here, see you back here at 12:15. Questions ready? You can write it down on index card. We'll read it in.
The president was here. The president was here. She has to do that.
I know that's what I heard. That's what, but I just wanted to see if anybody else here that was in the room. I know you just said it. You just said it.
I am. It's up to my mouth. Okay, we're about to be going with the questions. We have a couple questions that one has someone put in my hand, and about the school vaccine requirements. Anyone want to talk about that? Requirements for the vaccine? Does anyone know anything about the school vaccine policy? I guess. What will the state? It says, what will the state of Virginia or Fairfax Company do to protect school vaccine requirements? And nobody can answer that.
Let me make it clear, even though you're differently from the White House, Kennedy, Secretary Kennedy, I should say, vaccines are good and save lives. So don't be afraid of the vaccines. Listen to your doctor. Make sure your kids, grandkids, great-grandkids get their school vaccine, the vaccine before school. Right now, nothing's changed in Virginia, and we're hoping to keep it that way. And that's why we need to vote, and we need to get Sandberg elected, and we need to get Jane Jones as Attorney General, because people will sue the Trump administration if they try to change our vaccine policy.
Another question that came up has to do with if someone uses their housing voucher, Section 8, and can they transition to Fairfax County housing?
I would probably want a little bit more context on the person's individual situation, because everybody's situation is a little bit different. But generally speaking, if you move on to the housing program, but you qualify, your income qualifies to move into a non-federally subsidized affordable housing property, generally speaking, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay, I've just been asked to hold this for a couple of minutes so that people can get their food and bring it back to their table.
Thank you so much.
chooses this next vision or the benefit of cut, does Fairfax County have some type of program where people can apply for those, for the food? You know what I mean? Hey folks, the question is about food. If we lose food benefits, how do we get food? Where do we go? What do we do? And there's a lot of opportunities in the community here to respond to that. I start with United Community. I think most of you know United Community, all the work they've done for decades in here. There's also other programs like Good Shepherd Housing that has some food support. And if we're further down the highway, Northern Community Action Commission, also LCAC, many of you, also has a food market they now are calling it. And then there is one other food market on the highway, that's at Rising Hope. Is that familiar with Rising Hope? It's also down the highway, it's right near the Legals. So we have several different options, and I know there's some other private groups, I know there's some other churches and others who do provide support for that. So if you have a need, my recommendation is that you contact either United Community, Rising Hope, or if you're not sure, call our office, contact our office, and we can put you in touch with somebody who might help you.
One of the ideas here today is to talk to you about scams that you probably get in email, you probably get phone calls, people who come door to door, mail, phone, it's text. Like every way that you can communicate today, there's all kinds of suspicious activity out there, and the con artists are very clever, and they know what works. And they only need, one out of 1,000 people to respond, and they make a lot of money. They can bring it back down, they can steal from you. And so you have to be very careful. We in the General Assembly have, Democrats especially, have been working on increasing penalties for elder abuse and neglect. And because, we're concerned about seniors and real consequences for them when they're being abused and neglected. But also, we've got some good new banking laws and passed laws that let banks flag suspicious activity on seniors' accounts. There's a new law that will go over effect in July that Doug Maldonado from Prince County Chief led, which will let you designate some trusted family member or friend to the bank if the bank can work with it as well. So we are lucky to have Fairfax County Police here and the expert. And let me just say one other thing before I put him up here. There's also going to be an opportunity coming up. Well, he could talk about that scam jam. So let's without further ado, let's hear from Officer Kaminsky. Kaminsky is going to give you some really good tips. And listen to this, take notes, because everybody thinks that it can't happen to you. And we all know it can. We all know somebody, or even ourselves. And one of the problems that everybody has with being conned is they're too embarrassed to tell anybody because they think they're the only one that's has to. I've been conned, and I think I'm smart, but I might be not so smart. But it doesn't matter because everybody can be conned. The smartest people can be conned. Right now, unfortunately, being conned by that guy in the White House. But I don't want to know. Here's the officer. He'll tell you what to do and what to really work for. Watch out for.
Thank you, folks. Who's got a cell phone? Everybody, right? Just while I was sitting up here, Josh from area code 321. Hi there. I'm Joseph. I'd like to notify you on employment that aligns with your skills. Just while I was here. Okay? Anybody get the text about you have unpaid tolls? Yeah? How many of you don't drive that got a text about unpaid tolls? Right? Okay. You guys are from a generation that I truly respect, a generation where your word was your bond, If someone called, you answered the phone, and if you didn't want people to call, you just took it off the hook and set it on top. You don't do that with your cell phones now. You think that every call is important, and when these scammers, which are truly criminals, and when they call, you think it's important. And we've seen hundreds of cases across Fairfax County where people are told, and right now I'm going to tell the story that I had a gentleman used to work in the Sully district. He was told that he had the IRS they wanted their $40,000 that he supposedly owed. He was told to go to Target, and they would settle the $40,000 debt for $3,000 in Target gift cards. And he believed it because the number came up as a federal government number, and he thought he was doing the right thing. That gentleman's savings was only saved because the girl couldn't bring up all $3,000 in Target gift cards, and she finally realized, hey, maybe something's wrong, and happened to call the police. I assure you, there's also a scam going on right now. How many of you have grandkids or kids? Your grandson or your granddaughter who's maybe getting into a little bit of trouble these days, you suddenly get a phone call, they've been arrested by the police, and they want you to bail them out. But in order to bail them out, we need Apple gift cards. We don't take Apple gift cards, okay? We don't take Target gift cards. And the scam, there's really no way to prepare yourself for scams these days because they're so unique. Now with the new artificial intelligence, they're utilizing people's voices, things like that. What I can tell you is, if anybody calls you and you think, and they're making you think that your pants are on fire, and that you have to do this now or something bad is going to happen, it's probably a scam. Okay? We are not, as far as the police go or any of the police scams, we're not here to rush people. It's fine. We will figure it out. We just take your time. So if you think it's too good to be true, that they're offering you a cruise to the Caribbean, if you can only pay for it with Target or Apple or iTunes gift cards, it's probably too good to be true. And folks, you really need to heed that advice because you can be on your computer and how many folks are still using a laptop or their iPad or right every day. And you can be there and suddenly you get a pop-up that will pop up and say, you know, your computer needs to restart or you have to call this number in Pakistan in order to restart it. Those things are not true, okay? If you are ever in doubt, just call the police. Just call the police non-emergency number. We'll either talk you through it on the phone or an officer will show up and we'll figure it out from there. There's no existential crisis that, okay, we need to get this done now. So please, please, please beware of that. The text scams are the big thing, like I talked about, the toll scams. Please be aware of that. Do not respond to those. When you go out to places where you have to sign up for things, be aware of giving them your phone number. Be aware of giving that. Who in here has 2 different email addresses? Okay? Who in here just has 1 email address? You need to get a second email address. That second email address is the one that you give to CVS, that you give to 7-Eleven, that you give to Giant, that you give to places that are going to sell your first email address for money, and then you start getting down the road, you start getting all these spam emails. That's how they're getting your information. All right? There's no more yellow pages anymore. They're getting your information because we're giving it to them. We need to stop giving the good information out. Okay? Please be very aware. Any general questions about scams or fraud or even anything to do with the police department down here in Mount Vernon? That's perfect. Oh, man.
So I just wanted to know, is it possible that you can get a scam? I keep getting with one scam. Well, I get a lot of it almost every day almost. But there's one in particular that says that I have to pay taxes on, that I owe back taxes. I get that a whole lot. How am I paying back taxes if I'm on Social Security? Social Security disability does not file taxes. How am I going to tax?
You know, is that a possible scam?
Oh, 100% that's a scam. But truly, you answered your own question. You know you filed your taxes. You know I don't owe back taxes. So just, you know what, block that call, okay? The difficulty with these scams is everybody says, oh, what are the police going to do about it? We can't do much about it because some of these scams are coming from out of country, okay? It doesn't meet the threshold where we can actually go out there, put handcuffs on somebody and say, hey, knock it off. We can't do that. So these things are going to continue, and the only way we get them to stop is they stop getting information. Okay, so, but yeah, that is absolutely one of the things that's out there. The back taxes, because most law-abiding citizen, the worst thing you can do is not pay your taxes, right?
I also want to know, is there any way that you can block the scams off the cell phone?
What, I'm sorry?
Block the scams on your cell phone.
The what, man?
Block the scams.
Oh, block the scams. So you can do the opt-out. There's an 800 number through the federal government that you can opt out. I've done it on both my phones. I still get it because the numbers are constantly changing. It's essentially robocalling. So they might try that number and realize it's no good anymore, and they just keep trying the next number.
And not only do they do that on my cell, but it's also on my home phone as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are ways. The home phone, there's no way, unfortunately, to block it. Cell phones, it's much easier. You just click the block. So the other thing I want to make sure before I forget is there is the delegate mentioned. There is the scam jam coming up. AARP is who runs that along with the Silver Shield campaign. So that is Wednesday, April 30th from 9 to 3. That's at the Northern Virginia Community College in Annandale. You can bring old documents there, shred, things like that. But a lot of our financial crime detectives will be there, as well as several nonprofits to talk about some of the scams that they're seeing, things you can do to protect yourself, some of those other things. I saw somebody in the hand. Yes, ma'am.
One of the things I think we look for is if they ask for gift cards, right?
Yeah.
Do they ever ask for money?
They'll ask for cash, typically not. Because cash they have to get somehow. The biggest thing is, I remember growing up, my mom was always telling me, you don't send cash through the mail, right? That's still true today. You don't want to put cash in an envelope, okay? We still do have people go around the mailboxes occasionally, and with a chance that they might get cash. Gift cards are a big one. Cryptocurrency is another big one. As well as anything that seems off, okay? If you can't go to Walmart or Target or CVS and they won't take your Target gift card at CVS, or they won't take your Bitcoin or iTunes, there's something amiss there. So be very aware of that. I have some pamphlets that are up here at the table. Please feel free to take them. Yeah.
Okay, one of my questions, or not questions, but you just said the event that's happening at Nova. A lot of times things are happening and the people who need the help the most, they're being held in places they can't easily get to. Like, why not bring them to the community where the people are?
So that's not something that's brought by the police department.
Right, well, I'm just saying, making the point.
We do.
It's great to have.
We absolutely do. The resources are also available. Supervisor Stokes' office is really good. Just outside of the police station and the Supervisor Stokes' office, there's a ton of information there. I know there's a lot of good information out there that can help you folks out. We do our best to bring them down, but powers that be, Nova is a central place in Fairfax County, from the western end to the eastern, north and south. So that's why we're looking at it.
Okay, and then the other thing, on Lockheed, on a lot of streets, there's a lot of parking issues in the community. And so even though the signs are there to say no parking past this point or whatever, we often have to come out of our parking lot on Lockheed. We have to be in the lane of traffic to be able to see around. And I always feel like nothing's going to get done about that as far as it being enforced or whatever. until something tragic happens, like one of us get hit coming out of the parking lot or whatever. What can we do for that?
Not the case. Actually, our parking enforcement officer down here is Officer Sims. He has double the amount of parking tickets as anybody in the county. I assure you, we are writing these cars tickets, but we need the public to start to care about it. All right, a $50 ticket, maybe that doesn't bother you.
Right.
You know, we need those things, perhaps incremental fines, things like that. That's not things that the police department can handle. But I assure you, we are ticketing these cars constantly.
Can they do boots or something? I mean, something has to, not tow or whatever, but because still, that's a danger to anybody coming in and out of our parking lot.
The biggest thing you can do is call up, just keep making sitting on the $50 ticket and keep going from there. Unfortunately, it's not something that we can tow for immediately, but we are happy to go out there and make sure to ticket the individuals that are purposely doing it.
Okay, we're going to open this back up for just general questions. Okay.
Hello, everyone. I want to ask a question. We talked about this changing the subject a little bit. We talked about how people are in housing and everything, but then as soon as you get in housing and things break down, they can't afford to fix them or anything. So what I want to know, I did make a call to someone to the Hearts and Hands and Rehab program. I don't know if it's still in effect or not, but I did make a phone call. And I'm not home now, but it's supposed to be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So if someone could check on that for me, because this person can't afford it and needs it. And she's not the only one, it's a couple of other people. So if we could check on something about, it's rehab or Christmas, it used to be Christmas in April.
No, I did him because he was up. I said what I said to him because he was already up. But my other question or comment I had was for Mr. Stewart. And when you were talking about the budget, and I had actually emailed you, and I wondered, can you guys, because I had called 911, there was a fire at my neighbor's house, and I got put on hold for I don't know how many minutes, and then I hung up and I called back again, and I was on hold, and then eventually they came. Thankfully, it was not a serious fire. The house didn't burn down, and the wood didn't on the porch didn't burn down. But the issue is that it seems like with all of the stuff that's going on, and people are stressed out, and a whole lot of people are starting to do more stuff. So first responders, police officers, fire department, those are the last departments that need funding taken away from them. We need those. And so I'm hoping that you guys can figure something out to not take money away from those departments.
We have dramatically increased the funding for police and fire over the last 4 or 5 years, particularly because we now have collective bargaining agreements with our police and firefighter unions. So we've upped the pay for those individuals because we know their value, we know their importance in our community. We also know we have to attract the best and the brightest here. So we know that paying well is a way of doing that. Particularly for the police force, we are still down about 135 officers from where we want to be. It's down from a couple hundred a couple years ago. So we know that that's an important part of what we need to continue. But we have been very, very, very successful in the metropolitan area, getting more officers to join our force than really anybody else around here. So we're pulling back up, but it's taken a long time. So part of the way we do that is obviously offer great pay, great opportunities for people like Officer Kaminsky and the different officers and leadership that we have here. And our firefighters, we are pretty much where we want to be with firefighters, but it's nowadays days it's tough to keep that pipeline full because people have so many other opportunities and options. So we got to keep working on that. Being put on hold is, I don't understand that except that I've heard them explain to me at times when a lot of people are calling for the same event that they immediately have to put, because you get so many, you got flooded with a particular event, everybody's calling saying, when are you doing it, what's going on, and that's sometimes what they have to do. So if you have specifics on that, please share with me, and I will get a specific response for all of our cities. I want to know what happened, I want to know why, and then we need an explanation that is reasonable, but more importantly, I want to make sure we have the staffing so that nobody ever goes to prison.
All right, we have enough time just for about 2 more questions, and now we have to wrap it up. Questions?
Yes, I would like to know, you said about the shredders up there in Angleton. A lot of the cities does not have transportation. Is any way that you can bring it around here so we could do the shredding here?
I believe the transit does come. What? I'm not sure if I understand the question. Oh, the shredding. I have committed to sometime this year doing another shredding event. The county doesn't do it anymore. I've done it as part of Mount Vernon District. Other supervisors don't do it, but I do it because I know it's important for the community. We're working for it on a shredding event no later than this fall. So as soon as we have it, it'll be in the newsletter, and we'll make sure that everybody knows about it. But yes, we know it's an important part of what people want. I've committed to my staff and committed to the community that we will do another event this year. So I will let you know when I have the specific dates of that. But we are working on that now.
All right, one more question.
I have a question for the officer. I'm getting a lot of phone calls from police people and fire department requesting money. I feel that it's a scam because I understand y'all don't do that.
No, we don't do that, not at all. Anything to do with the police and fire department, we're not calling your house asking for money at all. So
Send it to my house.
yeah, block that number, and that would be nice to deal with that. Do not send it.
Well, this ends our program. I want to thank everyone for coming out and making this a successful event. Hopefully this soon, we'll do big events. I want to thank Thomas, Assembly, for coming out. Residents for coming out. I see different people from different communities coming out, and especially the people from the Gum Springs community. And I want to thank people who made this thing possible. I want to thank people who made this thing possible. We have Deborah here. She's the president of the Senior Advisory Board. We got Clarice down here. Clarice, raise your hand. Clarice,
Hardest working one here.
we have Mr. Moon. Moon, raise your hand. He's listening. Vincent Carter, the president of the Civic over there. Danny. Vice president of the Civic, Danny. We have Charlie. He's integral part of everything we do. And thank you. Hopefully, we can do this again soon.
But there's a big traffic situation up in Harbor Valley. So if anybody's going north on Route 1, all the lanes are blocked. That's my understanding. It should be opening up shortly, so there's a little bit of traffic here. So avoid that. If you want to go north, make sure all lanes are blocked. Backing up. So I would go around 400 not here? Okay, so just to be clear, there's an accident down in Harbor Valley on Route 1 going north. Southbound is okay, but if you have to go north from Chevrolet Lane on Route 1, it might be backed up. It's deep clear right now, but anyway, I'm getting a lot of texts from constituents, and they just let me know that that's a place to work. Thank you guys. There's a lot of good takeaways today. Don't forget, vaccines are good and safe. Everybody needs to take them. See your physician or your CVS or Walgreens and get a free vaccine. And I gotta get home because I got bed bugs and I got somebody coming for Daisy, hold on.
To the audience, the president of the Gum Springs Civic Association, and just want to say a couple of things. A couple of things that were mentioned here today. If you have issues, and we're going to have an issue that's going to get worse before it gets better. And so we need to stay together as a group. We need to stay together as a community. If you have issues, you can come here to this center, or you can come to Mount Vernon District Supervisor, but don't settle. Get somebody involved, and we will get to the right people to get you the answers that you're looking for. Because if you're looking for an answer to a problem, you're not the only one that has it. And so we need to get that around. We need to get supported and involved in things that's going on in the community. We need to stay aware of the things that's going on around us because things are going to be popping off. It's getting ready to get warm. More people are going to be having different things that happen and confusion. So you got to stay on top of what's going on. Get involved in the community. Call the people that you need to know. Come to this center. A lot of people don't even know. They come to this center, they're here now, probably won't be back again. Come here, you got the Mount Vernon Supervisor's office right across there, but talk to the people who can get something done. And if they don't, then we have to do something about it as a team. And also, if you want to get involved with the Civic Association, you can get involved with the advisory council. There are different things that you can get involved in. The youth programs. So find something, get involved, ask questions, and if you need answers, we can do what we can to get answers to it. So thank you, sir.
We also have the Gum Springs senior programs. Anyone who is not in a program, sign up. We're looking for people. They go on trips, they go all over the place. We want to join. We're looking for people to join.
This program was for the seniors, but on the 19th of this month, again at 11 o'clock, we'll have for the general population. So we'll be doing this again on the 19th. Come back, bring your questions, and hopefully by that time we'll have more answers.